So it may not be as widespread as the Great Southern Brood, but we are getting ready for Brood 14 to emerge here this May across parts of the Southeast and up through the Midwest. Joining me now to talk more about this is Dr. Kritsky with Mount St. Joseph University and the creator of Cicada Safari. Thank you for being with me today.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
So Dr. Kritsky, can you tell me, this is a 17-year periodical cicada. Where are they going to emerge? Where are some of the hotspot states?
Well, they've actually started emerging. In fact, they emerged over a week ago in the Macon area, and those might have been stragglers from Brood 19 from last year, but they are now emerging in good numbers up in the northeast corner of Georgia, throughout Tennessee, and they're now beginning to come out in nice numbers across the midsection of Kentucky. And even here in Cincinnati, we had about 50 emerge last night, and in the last hour, I've received over 147 people sending me cicada photos of what they're finding in their backyards right now.
Oh my gosh. And you know, I was going to ask you, what do they look like? But we see this wonderful, colorful background behind you. Can you describe to me the difference between periodical cicadas, like what they look like, versus the annual ones that we get here each summer?
Certainly. Well, the periodical cicadas, which you can see behind me, are a little smaller than the annual cicadas. They're different colors. They got bright red eyes, black bodies, and their wings, which are membranous, have these orange-colored wing veins, which make them really stand out. Whereas the annual cicadas that most people will see are almost camouflage colored. They're going to be green, black, and brown with black eyes, sometimes green eyes. And whereas the periodical cicadas come out in big numbers, you see lots of them, the annual cicadas come out in much smaller numbers. And they won't start coming out until right around probably in the Georgia area, probably around mid-June. We've already started seeing reports from Texas of annual cicadas already emerging, but they gather in trees in small numbers, but they sing constantly, and their calls are that bzz, 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 bzz call that you hear in the late summer and early fall. Whereas the periodical cicadas, you won't forget their call. It's this loud cacophony that just goes on and solid.
I know, and they're such fascinating creatures, right? Because they're under the ground for 17 years, and like clockwork, they all know, okay, this is my year, I need to pop up. How does weather play a role in that timeline of emergence for them?
Well, we now know that periodical cicadas count the years by monitoring what goes on above ground. In particular, in the spring, as the trees start to leaf out, they can detect that increased fluid flow from the roots up to the leaves. So they know that they can determine the passage of time. They come out of the ground when the ground reaches 64 degrees Fahrenheit, and usually after a nice soaking rain. That really gets them to pop. And that's when they start emerging in good numbers. They all don't come out in one night. It takes about 2 full weeks for all the cicadas to emerge. So it's not like if you get up in the morning and you find all these empty cicada shells in your front lawn and on your trees, you didn't miss it. Just go out the next night.
Yeah.
But what we don't know for sure is how they remember what year it is. We've had a couple instances, for example, back in 2006 to 2007, we had an extremely warm January. We had 70-degree temperatures here in Cincinnati. The trees started to leaf out in January. Then come early February, we had a hard freeze. All those buds dropped. And when true spring came later in March, a few thousand cicadas came up a year early because they thought it was 17 years because they detected 2 of those leaf sets in that one particular year. But again, we don't know what tells them this is it, this is the year. We have some hypotheses and experiments going on to try to determine that, but there's still some secrets that they haven't told us.
They haven't told you yet. And you mentioned that when they come up, it's over kind of a 2-week period, but then once they're up, what's their job? What's their job? What are they trying to do?
What they want to do is mate, lay eggs, and die. That's their function of their. The average cicada lives only about a month unless they're eaten by birds or something. But in that 1 month, it's all focused on males singing, attracting a female to mate, and her laying the eggs, and then they die. Yeah. And that's the function of all species is to reproduce, and so they're doing what evolution requires.
And so if people are really interested, really fascinated, and they want to be a citizen scientist, you've created this wonderful app so people can be citizen scientists. Can you tell us about Cicada Safari and how you use it?
Certainly. Well, I will point out that crowdsourcing or citizen science with cicadas goes all the way back to the 1840s when Gideon Smith out of Baltimore started writing letters to newspaper asking people to send him letters or cards if they see cicadas. But Cicada Safari is a free app, price is right. And if someone wants to help us map where Brood 14 is emerging this year, they download it from the App Store or Google Play. And when you get the app, it's free, and we don't share any emails with anybody, so they're perfectly safe. No, they're not going to get a lot of emails from Mount St. Joe or something. But what they do is go out on their own cicada safari. They go out looking for cicadas, and if they see a periodical cicada, you turn on the camera, and there'll be a little white box in your camera screen, and you try to fit the cicada in that box, and then take the picture. And when you hit the little paper airplane icon, it's sent to our servers. And right now, we're only about 2 hours behind in identifying all the cicada photographs coming in, and we'll probably have about 1,000 photographs today.
And certainly those hot spots are north of Georgia, but let's talk about who could see cicadas here in the state of Georgia. You mentioned maybe some stragglers from last year's emergence in Macon, but northeast Georgia, which folks could see, would they see them in large numbers or much smaller numbers than last year?
Probably a little bit smaller, but they're going to be up in that very northeast county that borders South Carolina. We've got some reports from there already. I didn't get a lot of photographs from there, so we can't tell you how heavy the emergence is, but we do see them there. You'll see them south of Chattanooga. We have reports from there as well. And it is possible that people who had cicadas 4 years ago might see some, or even last year when Brood 19 emerged, because we now know that some cicadas get their clocks wrong, and they'll come out 4 years late, sometimes 1 year late. And so hopefully people who already downloaded Cicada Safari from previous years can pick up the updates and see if there's any straggler cicadas, as we call them when they come out off cycle, and tell us what's going on with those, because that's important to really understand the whole biology behind the cicada broods.
And fascinating creatures they are. I'm not sure if I'd eat one, but certainly I've been on a cicada safari looking for them, and it was just a good old day of fun. Well, Dr. Gene Kritsky, I want to thank you so much for joining us here today. You've been a huge weld of knowledge, and I hope folks that have those periodical cicadas popping up know how they can report them and be citizen scientists to help you all as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.